Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Continue. Yeah. Yeah. Huh? Oh no, continue, please. Hare Krishna. Huh? Actually, this goes back and forth, so you can be fast also. Both is fine. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. I'm so grateful to be amongst all of you this evening, and our special thanks to our host, Aditi and Anand, and their, I don't know the age, maybe 3 or 4-year-old Ane. How old are you, Ane? That's how the life works. When you are young, you want to be projecting your age more, and when you grow old, you want to. So I'm thankful for opening the doors of your home and your heart for having this program. And I'm so grateful to be amongst you. And Mata, I didn't get your name. Dolly, yes. And you came, right? For before, did I see you before? Acha, acha. But you didn't come to Aditi's. No. Acha. And Dolly and Priyesh. Very nice. Hare Krishna Madhav. So we'll start the So we'll start what is called Mangalacharan prayers. Who does not have a copy of Gita at home? With you right now. Okay, if you don't have a copy of Gita right now, Yashoda Kripa Prabhu, would you mind getting a box right in the back of my car? I can actually, modern technology. Yeah, it's right opening the door. Maybe there is a box of hardbound and we can get started. So, Priyesh, where do you work? Oh, yeah, nice. And of course, I know where Anand works, Meta. Is there any specific questions before we get started in the class? Anything you are interested in hearing? And if you want to hear about economy and what are Elon Musk's future plans for Twitter, I'm sorry, I don't know. But anything about Gita, if there is, let me know. So we have a copies of Gita. So please take and we can read the Gita. And then if you don't have a copy at home, Priyesh, or everyone should have their own copy. And then if not, you can give a small donation to the hosts or to me, and then you can read. So when we start our prayers, they are in introduction of Gita. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So in the introduction, everybody go on page 1 for the introduction. Is everybody there? Page 1, yeah. We'll all do together if you want to follow. Om Ajnanathimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpataru Bhayascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Matsamo nasti papatma naparadhi chakaschana parihare pilajjame Kim Bhruve Purushottama Bhumau Skalita Padanam Bhumireva Valambanam Tvai Jata Paradhanam Tvameva Sharanam Prabho Govinda Vallabhe Radhe Prarthaye Tvamaham Sada Tvadiyam Iti Janatu Govindo Mam Tvaya Saha Radha Radhita Radhesha Radhika Prana Vallabha Radha Ramana Vande Tvam Radhika Prema Nirjita. Hare Krishna. So today, let's pick up few verses of Gita. Um, we will do ninth chapter. Text 18. Yeah. Text 18. So kindly repeat after me. I don't need to repeat, but if you want to, then. Gatir bharta prabhu sakshi nivasah sharanam suhrid prabhava pralayasthanam nidanam bijamavyayam. Yashoda Prabhu, please translation. Just the translation.
I am the goal, the sustainer, the master, the witness, the abode, the refuge, and the most dear friend. I am the creation and annihilation, the basis of everything, the resting place and the eternal seat.
Purport also, please.
Purport Ashwatoka. Gati means the destination where we want to go, but the ultimate goal is Krishna. Although people do not know it, one who does not know Krishna is misled, and his so-called progressive march is either partial or hallucinatory. There are many who make as their destination different demigods, and by rigid performance of these strict respective methods, they reach different planets known as Chandraloka, Suryaloka, Indraloka, Mahaloka, etc. But all such lokas or planets, being creations of Krishna, are simultaneously Krishna and not Krishna. Such planets, being manifestations of Krishna's energy, are also Krishna, but actually they serve only as a step forward for realization of Krishna. To approach the different energies of Krishna is to approach Krishna indirectly. One should directly approach Krishna, for that will save time and energy. For example, if there is a possibility of going to the top of a building by the help of an elevator, why should one go by the staircase, step by step? Everything is resting on Krishna's energy. Therefore, without Krishna's shelter, nothing can exist. Krishna is the supreme ruler because everything belongs to him and everything exists on his energy. Krishna being situated in everyone's heart is the supreme witness. The residences, countries or planets on which we live are also Krishna. Krishna is the ultimate goal of shelter, and therefore one should take shelter of Krishna either for protection or for annihilation of existence. And whenever we have to take protection, one be a better well-wisher. Krishna is the original source of creation and the ultimate rest after annihilation. Krishna is therefore the eternal cause of all causes.
Thank you. So Bhagavad Gita actually starts off with not a happy situation, but a distressful situation. But now that anyways, we'll talk later. But thank you for coming. The whole Bhagavad Gita starts off rather with not the most pleasant of situations. Arjuna had to fight this battle, and that battle was very unpalatable. He had to kill his own relatives, either to win the kingdom or to, Krishna says, you have to fight this battle because in those days, Kshatriyas had no other means of sustenance. We lose one job, and we can apply in another company. But Kshatriyas were supposed to rule a kingdom, and whatever taxes were earned from that, they could sustain themselves. They had to give protection to the people, and then whatever taxes they could collect, that would be used to maintain themselves. And when Arjuna had to fight this battle, he had this very unpalatable choice, very, very a hard choice to make, whether I should go to the forest and not have a kingdom at all, or should I kill my own relatives for this kingdom? And therefore the Gita was spoken by Krishna. And Arjuna is Krishna's friend and also his devotee. So he spoke this Gita. Now one might ask, what relevance does it have to me in the modern context? Arjuna had a problem to solve, Krishna solved his problem. But how does that help me? Why do I even sit and waste my time reading Gita? Instead, maybe I can learn the latest language that's in the market. No. After Rust, it is, I don't know, whatever. Unrust, easy Rust, Rust plus plus. I mean faster rusting, Rust plus plus. But the problem is, no matter how much of adjustments we make in this world, the living entity is not completely satisfied or happy. And the whole idea of Bhagavad Gita is, how can I face those challenges that come upon me, yet retain my integrity, my spirituality? And Gita teaches us this. At the very outset, Krishna says in the Gita that you are not this body. The troubles that you have taken on yourself is because of the identity that is different from who you are. I'll tell an example. Can we observe the changes that are going around? Can you feel it? I mean, your children are growing up. You yourself are getting old. Your car is getting old. Or, the job changes are pretty rapid. Yes or yes. In tech world, it's even horrible. I mean, in the bygone ages, you learn one skill. And that skill would be your bread and butter throughout your life. At 40, you don't have to worry about updating your skills. Otherwise, you will be outdated. Update or outdate. There's no anxiety like that. In fact, Bhagavatam mentions the story of a arrow maker. And it talks about concentration. The arrow maker was so absorbed in his skill of making arrow, a whole king and his procession and the intense noise that comes. I mean, imagine if the Biden goes across on the street, it'll be quiet and calm, right? There'll be crowds and there will be sirens, but this arrow maker was just fixed in sharpening his arrow, and he didn't see the whole procession pass by. He was so absorbed in that skill. That skill was maintaining him. But not in the Silicon Valley. Yes or yes? Because you need to keep on updating your skills. Younger people are coming into the workforce. And there's a constant anxiety. But please understand that these anxieties are not new, nor will they ever stop if one is in this world. Gita will help you to overcome those anxieties by giving you spiritual strength and by giving you spiritual knowledge. One of the greatest difficulties that we have is the fear of unknown. Yes or yes? What is going to happen? Krishna actually gives the unknown factor, he removes it at the very outset, saying that, he says that you think you are the body, but you are something way beyond. And coming back to the point, when I asked the esteemed members, can you observe the changes? Your children are growing up, you are growing up, you're getting old. Things that, you had a bank balance, you had nothing to start with when you came. Now you have a big house, a bank balance. But then, all these changes are happening, yes or yes? But if you are, because for argument's sake, forget whatever Krishna speaks in Gita. Forget there is a soul. Atma Shatma kya karna hai? What's the point? God, Atma. These are all like beki baatein. It's all mythology. It's all like, you are this particular world. You belong to this world. You have one life. That's it. You have not seen life. Did anybody hear this argument before, or is it just me? But here is the question. So imagine in India when we are going in a train, right? You remember that the train would come and the train going in the opposite direction. You are going from Delhi to Haridwar, and then you are sitting in there, and then the train from Haridwar to Delhi is going, and it's in the opposite platform. Yes? And then when you suddenly see that there's something moving, you don't know whether your train is moving or the other train is moving. Then you have to look on the other side of the platform. Then you oh, I see. Okay, my train is still there. The other yes. So, which means if you are on this, and if the trains move simultaneously, you don't know which is moving, right? Both of them start at the same time. So, from your point, if you are not different from body, you will not observe the changes in the body. Am I making sense? Unless I am different, so somebody will have to tell you. So if you are in the same, assume that you are going in the car, you're on the freeway, you are going at the exact same speed. Who is moving and who is not moving cannot be told unless you are different. The observation of the car and the body has to other observation has to happen. You are different. If you are in the same, you are the same matter, you are the same body that you are, then you won't observe. Am I making sense? Even though marijuana is legalized, I promise you that, So if you are, Krishna says the exact same thing in Gita. Dehinosmin yata dehe komaram yovanam chara tata dehantara praptir dhiras tatranmayati. He says, as I can see my body changing from when I was a child to adult, to whichever phase you are in. That means, though my body is changed, I am observing the changes. But if I am that matter, not different from matter, then I won't observe the changes. Because my frame of reference is in matter. Making sense? So Krishna is saying, by identifying with that Atma, then you actually are transcending these troubles. And spiritual life is to give you that inner strength to say that things will be okay. Because in one sense, things will be okay because you have reached a world of not okay. Yes, sir, Tamkhane. Yes, please. Mm. Well, I have a question. Not for you, for the person who's asking. Is when you were a 7-month-old baby, what was your favorite color? I don't know, because the memory is not there. Though I lived in that, I don't have memory. Even the memory I am given is only possible only to such a limited extent. If forget when I was a 7-month-old baby, I asked Anand, like, what was he doing exactly 1 year ago on the same day? April 14th of 2022, sir, what were you doing at 6 p.m.? You'll have to jog your memory. Maybe you have a calendar somewhere that tells you, I had gone to lunch here, or I had gone to this movie, or I had, yes or yes. Do you remember on top of your head right now? So my point here is, my memory is so fallible. One of the most fascinating things happen is with the witnesses. They recount the story of crime, but they keep on changing their versions. And the reason is because the way I am gathering my knowledge is through my senses. And those senses are not perfect. So then the confusion comes, I need to get perfect knowledge, but the faculties of getting the knowledge are imperfect. Then how can I rely on the memory? Which means there must be somebody who has to jog our memory for the first time, saying that, you know, you are not that. You are somebody different, wake up. Assume that a person is homeless, loitering on the streets, begging for food, running, going through the trash cans, picking up whatever garbage you can find, or going to the store and that fellow is out of date. I mean, this is like expired products and they throw away and then you get. And then when night comes, you just find a place where you can sleep for a couple of hours on a park bench. The policeman will come and kick you out and then you have to find something else. Nice life, easy life, hard life. But if that person comes to the homeless man saying that, dude, you've forgotten that your father is Elon Musk. I mean, it's a possibility. You never know. These people. Exactly. And you are like this, but yet no clue who your father was. Will that person continue like that? No, he will try to reach out to his father, yes or yes. Krishna is saying that I am the father of everyone. Pitahamasya jagata mata dahata pitama. So if somebody comes and tells you in this world, dude, why are you acting like a homeless fellow? Yeah, God was your father. And he himself says, I'm not making it up in Gita. Then it will be such a relief. You'll say, okay, let me approach and get some guidance. So Gita is reaching out to each and every one of us with the same assurance that Arjuna got, saying that life is not that bad, even though it might seem dire. On the other hand, for those news media channels, they will want to give you the wrong word. They want to give you the wrong news. They want people to keep watching their thing. And fear is the easiest way. More questions, comments. I want it to be super interactive. This is not a temple. Even though we are broadcasting, it's fine. Sir Praveen, you have a question? Okay.
I don't think we need to maintain memory more than what is needed to serve the immediate task or purpose. Like even when Lord Ram was there, he didn't like move around having this memory of being Vishnu until the end. Like he could have, I mean, there were other people around him who kind of nudged him, reminding him that he is Vishnu and he can solve the problems around him faster and make things easy. But that was not the point. I think things are meant to go the way they're supposed to. So only at the end he got, or maybe he brought his memory back that he was Vishnu when he had to leave. So to that point, if he didn't need that memory of being who he was, then I think that weight of having the memory is also not on others.
So weight of memory in the conditioned life is not. So I'll tell you the story of why Lord Ram acted like how he acted like a quote unquote human being. Now we know the story of Ravan, of how that vicious demon, he asked boons from Lord Shiva, but he said animals or humans, don't even bother to give me protection from them. I can take care of them. Now, when the demigod said this Ravan is a demon that's torturing people, the Lord came as a quote unquote human being, but he was divine in all respects. Let me give an example. If Prime Minister of India, Modi, he goes to a prison to study what's the situation of the prisoners, and he wears prison clothes, and people don't he takes a disguise. Does he lose his prime ministership and he forgets? No, he is aware that he is prime minister in all conditions. If that is the case for a prime minister of India, then what to speak of Bhagavan Vishnu? Okay, somebody has to take it and sit it off. Yeah, no problem. So if Bhagwan Vishnu is never forgetful of his position, but his Leela can be that he came as a human being to kill Ravana and he had to take the role of a human being. And that's the reason it happened. Otherwise, Lord Vishnu, if Lord Vishnu is forgetful, hey Baba, why worshipping? Right? You chant, you worship him, you do so many things for him. He's a human being, yeah, he's forgetful. Kya pata? Yes or? No, but Krishna says he is called Achyuta, which means he will never forget what you did. Otherwise, what's the guarantee? Are you Krishna conscious or Hari Bhakt or Krishna Bhaktas crazy people? Because you are worshipping a God who might or might not remember. What's the point? कहीं तो लिखो यार, keep track. Because भगवान को सबूत मांगते हैं. He doesn't ask for proof. Because he is saying what? Gatir Varta Prabhu. Please look up the verse. Gatir Varta Prabhu. Sakshi means he is for every single life that we have taken in this world. He is in our heart witnessing what we are doing. He doesn't ask saying that, give me the proof. Don't need the proof because I am the witness sitting in your heart. So, no matter how difficult the situations in life, Krishna is always there in the heart and he will guide for those who wants to take shelter. So it's the greatest gift of Gita. Questions, more questions. You have that questioning look. So, Anandji. How does it work best?
I mean, it brings, so whatever situation the world was in, Lord Ram had to bring himself down to that level. I don't think he was doing himself to be in this. I think he brought himself down to being a normal, not
As I said before, Modi acting like a prisoner in a prison doesn't diminish his capacity. There is always protection. But he might act like that. So Lord Vishnu coming to this world is actually for the benefit of the people of this world. He doesn't need to come. Why would Modi need to go to prison? Unless there is compassion. Right? So, quote unquote, his acting as a human being is just like an acting. Nothing more to it. Not that he loses, he forgets his divinity. If he, again, as I said, if he forgets his divinity, what's the point in reading Gita? Krishna will forget his divinity. He becomes just like an ordinary gwala in Vrindavan or a king. Why do we even need to read Gita 5,000 years later? Because बहकी बहकी बातें करते हैं because वो भूल गए कि this is Bhagwan. Krishna says that under all circumstances I am God and my divinity is not changed. You are my servants, I am your master. Your duty is to serve me. Otherwise, what's the point in Krishna saying Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja? Aham Tvam. कौन है ये भगवान? ये भी मनुष्य हमारी तरह. Why should I surrender? I'll surrender to Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk. They will give me more money. So Bhagavad Gita actually gives a much more deeper version. It gives you much more happiness, much more safety and security, knowing that you are worshipping that God that never fails, that's infallible. Otherwise, what's the point in he being called a God? Is that making sense? But please continue. You might think that God is a human, but he acts like a human, right? Otherwise, if he becomes a human being like us with no powers, then how can he even protect us? You have more doubts, so let's really talk. I really wanted to, any other things that you had, Anandji? तो ये प्रॉब्लम हुआ ना यार कि इफ गॉड नीड्स टू बी टोल्ड देन हम लोग क्या चीज़ हैं? Unless you are God, we are God. That is a whole other topic. If you want to get into, we will get into. But and the first class in your home, I think will steer clear of that, because that's, just take it from me, it's impossible. God is God and we are we. If it's interchangeable, then we are the most foolish gods that ever exist. Because I have put myself into this world where I can't even control my own bladder, let alone controlling this world. What sort of God would put himself in a situation of complete forgetfulness? I can't, getting up in the morning, I can't even control my own bladder. And if old age comes, I can't even control any bodily functions. Going around with adult diapers and calling yourself God is like it's an insult to God, who's supremely powerful, sweet, who's extremely potent. When you read Bhagavatam, actually you will get much more information about God. But more questions. If that is your idea of God, then we will definitely have a session during lunch or dinner. More questions, more comments. Please ask. It's a open question. Okay, more questions. If not, then I'll continue more. Sir.
Prabhuji, so Krishna is witness, right, to everything, ultimate witness, right? And so whatever living entity does, right, good, bad, which is dear or not dear to Krishna, right, he's witnessing all of it. And he lets us do that out of free will that is given, right? And he's also loving father, right? But that seems like contradictory, right? The loving father wouldn't let child do things that are not good, right? So how do we reconcile that?
If one's child is really causing tremendous amount of trouble, the father tries his best to change or correct them. The child doesn't. Do you take the child and put a chain and lock them in the basement of the house forever? No. After a stage, you will say, it's your choice. So Krishna is the loving father, but if you made a choice to go away from him, Krishna says, look, you have to either stay in this world or you have to stay with me, or you have to come back to me. It's your choice. You stay in this world, you perfectly stay in this world. You get different bodies. Now you have a body, you will get another body tomorrow. And you can keep on taking bodies, or you can, make a program to not take these bodies, which are cause of suffering in this world. So what's your choice? He actually, you brought up this very nice thing. Let's read verse number 3 of 9th chapter. Because, in some religions, they say if you don't believe in God, you'll eternally suffer in hell. Yes or yes? And if you believe in God, you'll eternally go to heaven. Is Krishna saying that, or is he not saying that? Text 3 of the 9th chapter. I don't know the page. 380. Thank you. Ashraddhadana Purusha Dharmasya Parantapa Aprapyamam Nivartante Mrityu Samsaravartmani. Mata, anybody can read the translation, please. Just the translation. You can do. Mata, anybody, yeah. Just the translation.
Those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of enemies. Therefore they return to the path of birth and death in this material world.
Thank you. That's it, Mata. So here Krishna is saying it's your choice. He is not saying that, hey, if you don't come to me, then you will be in suffering in hell. No, he says, what you are experiencing now, that's what you experience. Repeated birth and death. But if you think that is Because Prabhupada was once asked, Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, he was asked, Swamiji, if you said that if I am not careful, I'll be a dog in the next life. I don't care if I be a dog in the next life. And Prabhupada said, you have my full blessings. So as a jiva, you have your choice. The jiva is not like a programmed robot. So, but please understand that the other thing is, even if one does, "Arey yaar, chodo, forget Krishna, I don't believe in God, he is just me, I'm God, he is God, whatever. But at least you believe in spirituality in next life, automatically so many crises are solved in this world. Economic crisis. I'll give an example. And then this time I'll pick on Yashoda Kripa and Mantra Siddhi. Why not? My good friends. So, they are like really tired and they say, I need a break. Okay, they get a break. They go to Hawaii. It's a beautiful restaurant. Not beautiful resort, not restaurant. Right next to the ocean. Weather is perfect. They can see the sunset and they can hear the seagulls and the waves are lapping. It's beautiful as your ocean. And they check into the resort. It's a nice double bed and there is nice kitchenette. They can cook as well. And as soon as they land into the hotel, Yashoda Kripa says, you know what? I'm going to the hardware store. I don't like the color of the walls. I'll just take out and get the new paint and start painting. And Mantra says, this is good idea. I'm going to the furniture store. I don't like the bed and all that. It's horrible. And then Gopal Rai, he's grown up a little bit. He says, okay, let me also rip out the carpet, put a new one. This is a horrible carpet. It's like the manager is like, and then they're doing that, drilling is going on. And the neighbors are like, oh, what is this happening? And they open the door and they see like, these people are just ripping the whole room apart. And they call the property manager. Property manager says, hello, I own this property. What are you guys doing? And so it seems little humorous, but that's exactly what we do in this world. This world is like a resort. We come here for some time. And if you know that this is not a permanent place, then nobody will drill the oil to such an extent that there is a climate change problem or the climate crisis problem. Nobody will pollute the atmosphere just for a selfish desire to progress, leaving my own generations after me a horrible climate, cancer. Is it scary or not these days? I'm hearing so many cases. Where? How? Is it in the water, in the air, in the food, in the stress? Where is it coming from? So the idea here is, if you know Bhagavad Gita, you will make peace with the world, knowing that as much as you go to any hotel, just you do your thing and come out. Yes or yes. You're like, open the fridge. How much is the cost? Because I have to pay. You're very, very conscious that it's not your place. Because when you realize you are Atma, then you'll come to realize this world is not my place. And Krishna says, this is my hotel, my resort, that you guys are all having your time with, having a gala time, good or bad. So he's the resort manager and then we are the resort. So having that consciousness shouldn't scare you also. The thing is, with Bhagavad Gita, people can get negative about it. Oh my God. But no, the whole idea is Krishna is saying you will achieve the highest happiness. Why for lesser happiness when you can get highest happiness by following the instructions of Gita? And that's the reason you read Gita. And then what is and for yourself. I may be like, yaar, ye kahan se aaya banda? The whole idea is, I'm saying you shouldn't take this, don't take my word for it. You try it for yourself. If you think that reading Gita or having some spirituality, spiritual path is something that it's appealing to you, you should continue. Nothing is going to cost you here. I mean, I was recently going through, do you know that timeshare thing? Anybody heard about it? I just was watching a documentary. Please never buy timeshare. You know why? Because it seems that you sign up, they'll give you a free gift. I don't know, God knows what free gift they will give. But they'll entice you giving a free gift and you go into one of these sales and marketing sessions of a timeshare. It seems, and I'm not making it up, that session was for 7 hours. And this person had diabetes, sugar problem. He had to eat something after 5 hours and they would allow him to go. He signed just because to eat something. These people are not holding me back. And they'll say, it's a super deal, $10,000. And you own one of the finest properties in Hawaii or Florida or whatever. And then you sign that $10,000. You're done. It's impossible to get out. If you want to get out, then they will make it incredibly difficult for you to get out. Oh, after paying $10,000, you're responsible for the maintenance fees of that property. Every year, whether you like it or not, whether you go or not, you have to pay the maintenance fees. Oh, and they can actually do so many things. That is the nature of this world. Once you sign it into it, then it's a complicated meshed situation, just like timeshare property. And it seems that timeshare, you can never give it to those after you, it seems, because they have to, the maintenance actually goes default to your next of kin. They have to file in the court saying that I don't want this. Otherwise, you are on the hook that your father bought, that you never enjoy. Is it a timeshare or is it a time scare? I don't know. The point is that when we are in this world, it's better to know what's the nature of this world so that we are prepared for it. Krishna says in the Gita that a person who is in the platform of bhakti, they are never disturbed. And shall I tell you the return of investment on your time on Gita? Because this is you are sharing your time. This is a different time share. You are sharing your time. Let's look up 6th chapter, 21st and 22nd verse. And are you guys doing okay? Is everybody okay? Anand, are you going to take out a restraining order that I shouldn't come anywhere in 500 feet of your house? Are you doing okay? Doing good? Okay, 6th chapter, 20th verse. A page translation, please. 275, 20 to 23. Okay. Praveen, please do the translation, just the translation.
In the stage of perfection called trance or samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from material mental activities by practice of yoga. This perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoin in the self. In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness, realized through transcendental senses. Established thus, one never departs from the truth, and upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. Being situated in such position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of the greatest difficulty. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact.
Nice. Because, and by nature, when we say, Atma mein rakha kya hai? This is what rakha hai Atma mein. This is the ultimate or unlimited happiness that comes from realizing our true position. When if you are wearing a dress, to the extent you are attached to the dress, to that extent you will feel sad when something happens to the dress, when it gets stripped. Yes or yes? It's like, I was reading about that sari. What is that? Patan Patola? Patan something. It's a very expensive sari, right? Mata is knowing what Dolly. Assume that, you are just, it's a beautiful sari and it's a party, and then everything is going on wonderfully, and then the party is outdoor, which means there are like nice gardens, and then And then somebody is walking, Mata is walking with this Patan Patola sari for $8,000 or whatever. And then that sari, she was walking, and then there is a rose bush, and the sari gets stuck in the thorn. To the extent you are attached to that sari, to that extent that evening is 100% ruined for next few days. You'll be depressed, yes or yes. But to the extent you realize I'm distinct from that sari, then you will say that is what's happened to me is not to me but to the sari, right? So similarly, when you are situated in spiritual platform, then you will see that what is happening is something that is not you. It is a distinct personality other than you. And so you will not be that disturbed. Am I making sense? Yeah. Questions, comments, concerns?
The case. So I'm not sad because the studies.
I see. I see. That's an excellent point. You know, how to deal with the after effect of the guilt. So one thing we should understand in this world, there is something called the illusion of control. You know, how much can you control a situation? How much can you control your environment? How much can you control your own mind? And after a stage, when you are in spiritual life, you will at least come to know your limitations and accept them, and be free of the guilt. When the idea comes that I am this complete controller, to that extent you beat up yourself. Spiritual life, shall I tell you a secret? That you often forgive yourself. Because you realize that Krishna says in the Gita that my mind, the mind that you have, that is either the worst enemy or your best friend, depending on how you can control it. Because the mind is saying, go do this, go do that, go do this, go do that. It is never giving you rest, yes or yes? I mean, you thought you achieved it, but then, the mind is saying something else. I thought, life was great. I am the owner of a company that drills. I'm the owner of the company that actually sends rockets into space. I'm the owner of the company that builds electric cars. Getting the drift? How much? No. I need to buy a social media company to make myself happy. Tomorrow, the mind will say, no, it's not enough. I need to do something else. And the life is quickly running out. At the end of life, you're not going to take any company with you. Even your own body that I'm taking care of, I'll be just leaving. So the question is, what am I taking when I leave this world? What is it that I can take with me? And Krishna is saying that is the knowledge you get from Gita, the spiritual practices that you take. Shall I give you a most life reaffirm quote from Gita, if that's okay with you? Hare Krishna. All right. I think the kids are very hungry. This is one of the most liveliest chapter 2, verse number 40. So kindly repeat after me. Neha. Okay, Mata, you can take a copy of Gita if you want. It's right there. And okay. Kindly repeat after me. Neha Vikramana Shosti. I didn't hear anything. Let's try again. Neha Vikramana Shosti. Pratyavayo na vidyate. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya. Trayate mahato bhayan. Madhav, go for the translation. Do the translation.
In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear.
Thank you. So Krishna is saying, he's saying complete advancement, 100%. Little. I'll pick on Aditya and Ankit because they're my good friends. So Ankit is very hungry, and then Aditi is cooking. She's a nice lady. I like her. But then she says, cooking is done. No. 75% is done. Either it's zero. What's the point in 75%? Is it good? No, it's still like undercooked. The boss comes and says, what about the work I gave you? It's 60% done. You should be happy. The boss will be happy? Yeah, 100%, or it's useless. Yes or yes. But Krishna is saying, even if you do a little bit, point 0.001%, if you do in this life, in the next life you start from 0.000. Make sense? So please take some time to invest in spirituality. It is not a dry philosophical thing, some armchair philosophy. It actually touches our heart, and you can try it. If you like it, do it. If you don't like it, well, your money will be refunded back to you. Because we are charging you $0.00, we'll give you $0.00 back. That's Praveen, and then there is my good friend Vijay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So, Prabhu, I have a follow-up on the previous conversation we were just having about the control. Right? So, both extremes are dangerous, right?
Correct.
To think that I have full control, and to think that I don't have a control. And so, that middle ground, right, is how do we accomplish that? That's very dicey.
Excellent. One of the things Krishna says is that you don't control the outcome of the result or the results of your work, which means that if I have a goal, so for example, in 2 years, I'll reach this position. In 3 years, I'll reach this position. In 5. And then in the 12th year of my life, I'll become the CEO of my company. Or, cricket terms. I'll score 20 centuries by I'm like this, and like Sachin Tendulkar, I'll go for 100 centuries. How much of control can you do on that goal plan? It's impossible. There will be so many factors coming into play. Yes or yes? So one should have a goal. Bhagavad Gita doesn't mean that. I'll tell you what happens. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna shows to Arjuna the universal form, where he says that all the warriors on the opposite side are dead. I have put them to death. Means your victory is a foregone conclusion. So Arjuna should have said, yes, Krishna, you have anyway created victory for me. I'll take a ticket to Hawaii. Come back 18 days later, I'll get my kingdom. For 18 days, Arjuna fought. Krishna is right there. He gave the guarantee of victory, yet Arjuna was fought. So please understand, our duty is to fight. We need to fight. Even God is sitting right next to us. And that's our duty, our obligation. So have a plan, fight. But when the plan doesn't succeed, don't give up. Analyze why your plan didn't succeed. Was it a fault on my side? As Dolly was saying, no, is it a fault on my side? Maybe, coming back to her patola sari, not her. No pressure. Priyesh. If she was told that there are rose bushes, be careful, and she was neglectful of that, then yes, it's her fault. But if she had all the intentions of being careful, but it was just, as she was walking, a child was running right across, right? And then she had to move aside, and because of moving aside, her sari caught in that rose bush and got ripped. You can see when you analyze the situation, then you will see what was in my control and what was not. And then you can make adjustments according to it. I mean, I know a good friend who's sitting in the room. He's starting his own company. He can't control the economy. Or she can't control the economy. I'll just keep it completely mysterious. You cannot control what sort of people come and work for you. You cannot control where the VCs are going to give you. There are so many variables in the business. Yes, sir, yes. Which means you have a plan and you can execute and depend on God for fulfilling the rest of it. And it's obvious. And I can't even control my own body from growing old. Yes or yes? I mean, who here comes and says, God, give me old age faster? Nobody will say. It will happen. So there is that my plan, my initiative will never change. And Krishna, and you know what's the best part? Krishna says, you will fight. Arjuna said, Krishna, I will not fight this battle. This is too boring. Not boring, it's too dangerous, and he gives so many reasons. Krishna says, Bacha, you will fight anyways, because that's your nature. So if you have to fight, might as well fight with intelligence for Krishna, rather than fighting with your own false ego and getting into all sorts of unfortunate situations. Is that helpful? Yeah. So, and then you try again, and then if try again, and third time, fourth time, then it's not God's plan. You know, I tried my best. Initially, I said it was my fault. I fixed it. I worked it. It's just not going to happen. It's not just me. It's fine. Is that helpful? Okay, Rajiv and Pro.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I think your answer, 90% answered my question I was having. But just a follow-up on that. So sometimes there is the criticism that in the path of bhakti, we just need to do the minimal in terms of materialistic thing. And that's not very satisfying to me, because I want to endeavor and nicely work. I don't want to do half-baked job in my regular thing. And then just to do minimal and then continue my bhakti. So how do we address that in what Bhagavad Gita says?
In Silicon Valley, a person has a big house. Big is a relative word with Silicon Valley. Has a house, a car, couple of kids, a lot of money in the bank. And a person goes to India and he goes to father's place. He meets a farmer who's living in a and he says that I have all these things and somehow I'm struggling. The guy from Silicon Valley says to the farmer in India. And the farmer looks at him and says, get out of here. You have all that stuff and you're struggling. Look at me, I have nothing. So my point here is minimal is a very contextual thing. Minimal in Silicon Valley is what that is to struggle. And for a farmer in India, it is like you are rolling in wealth, you are a kubera. Practically wake up in the morning and then you open the closet, dollars will come falling out. That is their perception. So what Krishna never says in Gita that you should not do your job perfectly. In fact, he says you should do, he says so many places, if what is your swabhav, do it well. Don't depend on me and do it. So you should do it. But the problem comes as Krishna says 3 things will derail your progress. Anger, greed and lust. Nobody can come under this way and accept it. For example, if my friend is starting a company and I've just been a level 2 software engineer throughout my life. Yeah, what is this? This is horrible. I'll also start a company. But the problem is my nature there to start a company? Can you digest that kind of situation? Because if you are a CEO of a budding company, then you will just have to lie through your teeth to the customers. We already built that product. You can easily deliver it. I have no clue what you're talking about. I don't even know if I can build it, but I have to promise it. If I can be very honest to the person, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe I will build it. Maybe it will going to be tough. That guy said, don't waste my time. Yes or yes? So my point here is there is a certain swabhava or one's natural way of handling stuff. And it's okay to lie in business, according to Gita, because every endeavor is covered with fault. So if my nature is of a Brahminical thing and I start a company, I can't lie. If I can't lie, I won't make money. Simple. No, Prabhupada writes, for you, sir, I'm not making any profit. You go to a car dealership. I nowadays everything is online and everything, but previously you go to the car dealer and we used to haggle. So internet was not there so much, so you wouldn't know the MSRP and the invoice price. Once you know the invoice price, you'll try to haggle at the invoice price. That car, sir, you are asking me at the invoice price, and he'll take the photo of this family. If I give you at the invoice price, my wife and children will have nothing to eat tonight. Please give me something. And they got it below invoice. You have to lie through teeth. That is how business works. But if you are a Brahmana, it's like, no, it's okay. I'll take it at invoice. I'll still make $400 profit off of you. Or something to that effect. You see how nature makes a difference. So, Rajivan Prabhu, whatever nature is, go for it. Do work. Because Krishna says in the Gita, this is what happens. He says that there are two things. Destiny is there. Everybody has the destiny, karma and all that. He says, unless you work, you will never attain your destiny. So you better keep working. Or rather, do the work and offer it to me. Yes, Praveen, and then. But Rajivan Prabhu, hold. Does that answer your question? Because I need rebuttals. Because you're a scholar, I need some rebuttals.
No, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. It answered my question. I was asking on behalf of my friend. I just wanted to mention.
No, you should work. In fact, Arjuna wanted to run away from the battle. And Krishna says, fight. Praveen and then Aditi.
Prabhuji, quick follow-up on this one, right? You talked about the three things that are not good for bhakti: anger, greed, and lust, right? And lust, at least, and Prabhuji can correct me on the meaning, but lust is Vishaya, the word for it is Vishaya, and it's tendency to enjoy anything, basically. It's not just...
I'll clarify with that.
Okay.
So, lust, first of all, lust, calm, all that seems to be exclusively used for man and women and the relationships that happen, controlled, uncontrolled, married, unmarried, whatever. And opposite of gender irrespective. I just was thinking like that. So it's uncontrolled. That's the word. The enjoyment is there in, for example, if you are a married person, then there is a certain amount of license to enjoy, but it can't be uncontrolled.
So my question was, thank you for clarifying that. My question was the endeavor part that Prabhuji was referring, right? Endeavor to do something or accomplish something, right? Behind it, at least in some cases, there would be a desire to accomplish or enjoy certain situation, right? Outcome, right? And so how do you connect that to bhakti in that sense?
Can you give an example?
So like, let's say somebody wants to endeavor to earn more money or like build a business or make successful investments, right? And behind it, the mindset there could be, not will be, but could be that, hey, I want to enjoy, that wealth that comes along with it, right? So it's not really seen, or it's not in the context of like serving Krishna in that context, right? So how in that case the endeavor becomes, supportive or helpful?
So the desire to enjoy this world in of itself is not going to lead to great results. But having said that, if somebody really wants to enjoy, you can rightfully earn money, not without integrity. So again, this greed becomes, Krishna is saying greed, which means that If you are uncontrolled, there are no principles, there is no, they use the word means justify the end, or end justifies the means, sorry, whatever. Means, मेरे पास no question of integrity, no morality, nothing. I just want money. If it means my family is getting, I need a divorce, or I have to do so many things. For example, to get a deal, you have to do so many things. I had one friend, I'm sorry, I had one person that I know. He was running a business, and then to get a deal, he had to entertain a executive of a company in a steakhouse. He was a partial devotee. He had to take him to a steakhouse, and you have to feed him all sorts of questionable stuff. Is it needed? But modern day, it needed to pull off those deals. So, would you do it? That's where a bigger question comes. If I don't do it, I won't get the money. If I do it, then I'm seriously involved in some karma activities. So where do you draw the line with that? I mean, can you be bold enough to say, I'm sorry, this is my principle that I cannot, somebody says, let's meet and get a deal. Will you choose a vegan restaurant? Or if that person says, no, steakhouse is only where I need to go, and they're used to that, will you give? It's a moral choice that you need to make. And if it's a practical thing, and if I say, no, I don't care, I need money, I'm willing to break any rules, then that is, a slippery slope right there. Where is going to end? Tomorrow that person says, I need some escort services. You see how the slippery slope goes? How far are you willing to go to earn money? And the nature of money, Krishna is saying, is such, it's very difficult to earn, and it's a lot of work. So do it with depending on Krishna, and maybe Krishna will give you that insight on how to do it without losing one's integrity. Is that helpful? Aditi. Mataji.
So Prabhuji, just talking about how he said, what's your nature, and then you work accordingly. So some people like me who have come late in Krishna consciousness, we have already set up our life in such a way that now you start to question, what am I doing this for? So you don't want to quit because you've come so long. I've spent 18 years being who I am in corporate America. So quitting at this point, maybe I'm getting to a place where it'll get easy in a few years, but how do you justify where Krishna has put me in circumstances like this, and then reading Gita and getting deeper into Krishna consciousness and always wondering, what am I doing this for? So how do you justify the current circumstances while it feels like you're neither here nor there. You're not a pure devotee, always in bhakti, and you sort of have to manage material things that you have around you, and you've come so far and you're in it. So how do I justify that?
She's a very nice devotee, because after 18 years she read Gita and she's disgusted. I read Gita and joined the corporate world. I read Gita even if I was in the college before I got a job. Shall I tell a little bit personal thing? I joined the corporate world saying, Krishna, I'm not going to fight for positions or money. I'm not going to protest raises. Whatever comes, comes. I'll bargain. Don't get me wrong. That doesn't mean that I have been working for $1 every year for the last 20 years. I'll do my natural thing, but I'll never work for the sake of getting either promotions or manipulating people or doing the politics. I'll get whatever righteously I learn, I'll keep it. That's it. I'll adjust accordingly. Actually, that proved me for a great source of strength. People never thought me as a political. I was just doing it, and I for many long time I didn't get any promotions. And I said, Krishna, that's your prerogative. I don't mind. Once in a while, it used to hurt me. I'll be very honest with you. I used to go to LinkedIn, and I would see my batchmates or somewhere, and they're, it's okay, no problems. But later then, over last few years, things have really changed in my career. I have gotten promotions and this and that. They came of its own accord. So I didn't try for them. But the point I want to make is, if you are serving Krishna in that spirit, then you are never the loser. Krishna will come somehow or other adjust for it. So if you have that spirit that I need to do this to maintain myself, I need a job and I need to support my family, and I'll depend on you, Krishna, whatever you give me to the best of my ability, then you are not bound by the reactions of world. Please understand that Arjuna killed millions of soldiers in 18 days. To kill one person is actually hard. I mean, I'm always fascinated by the stories about how the emotions churn when a person is killing another person. There are serious ramifications on the mind. Soldiers coming from Iraq and other places, they have PSTDs, post-traumatic PTSD. What is that full form, Per? What is that? Please explain. Yes. Or witnessing death. By that stretch of imagination, after fighting the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Arjuna should have been in that situation for millions of years, because he killed millions. One day he killed 1 million soldiers. One day. 10 lakh soldiers, to imagine killing that kind of thing. In fact, that the very idea that of killing was abhorrent to him. That's why he said, I won't fight. But then when Krishna gave the instruction, he said that if you kill a man who kills not out of false ego, but a man who kills not based on false ego, but it has to be done, is free from that sin. So having those words of Gita will give you great hope and courage and strength to fight. I know sometimes you want to throw in the towel, but based on time, place, circumstances, please do what you need to do and depend on Krishna, and it's a matter of time before things will get adjusted. Sorry, I got autobiographical. Yashoda Kripa Prabha, usually I don't. Sorry. But nice. Thank you. Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, but usually that's really applicable to a more advanced setting. Because if people are willing to say, I don't want to give up, and then this actually I'll add fuel to the fire. Right? Other questions? We'll have a little bit of kirtan, then we can have prachadam. I can hear kids are like, their decibels are going up and up. And they're like, Madhav, you have to answer me a question honestly. Are you hungry? It's okay. It's okay. You can be very honest. Thank you. We'll have the kirtan and then we can have. I'm so grateful for your patient listening to the class. And this kirtan, please forget about the taxes that you have to file April 18th. Yeah, 18th. Please forget about the... Oh, it's delayed this year? No, it's April. They have an extension, right, every year?
Because of the weather situation, yeah. Extremities of weather. We got that privilege.
Is it?
The natural hazard area this year.
I see. There we go. So if you depend on Krishna, even the taxes also gets. So now that you don't have to worry about taxes because it's October 18th, thank you. And you don't have to worry about work for another 2 days because today is Friday evening, not Sunday evening. And, just give your heart, give your soul, and give your mind to the kirtan. And, wherever you can chant this mantra, it will be your benefit. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Louder. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you so much for coming this evening. Before we eat honor prasadam, there is a prayer that we speak If you can follow, you can follow. Otherwise, it's okay. I'll speak as slowly as I can. Kindly repeat after me. Mahaprasade Govinde Namo Brahmani Vaishnave Svalpa Punya Vratam Rajan Vishwaso Naiva Jayate. Bhagavad Sri Mahaprasadam ki. Hare Krishna.